Well, we meet again.
Yes. Another episode of the best podcast in the world.
Some people say.
This podcast has been brought to you by the letter D.
You
These
need some
nuts.
D. You need some vitamin D.
I give you some vitamin D right here, buddy.
It is winter time. Most people don't get outside much, and I think Doug is lactose intolerant. Probably, maybe. I don't know. I'm just making shit up. So he's probably deficient on vitamin D.
I would agree.
No,
Yeah,
definitely not lactose intolerant.
but you definitely need my D.
Yeah, I still need some D, but But the only thing better than cheese is more cheese. And the only thing better than more cheese is even more cheese with bacon.
I don't believe you can have too much cheese.
My digestive system begs to differ.
Yeah, my hemorrhoid's starting to hurt. We're just talking about that.
That's Robbie. That's because you're dead inside. You've killed it all in there with capsaicin.
That is
Yeah.
potentially true, yeah.
I do not disagree.
What you should do is go do you a cold plunge during the polar vortex. Yeah.
So I'm making some hot sauce, and I'll be glad to bring you some. It's mild.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know what mild means.
I'm in danger.
If you want mild, you just look at Adam. That's mild.
Yeah, look at me. I'm mild.
If Robbie tells you
it's spicy kind of person.
If Robbie tells you it's mild, it might be against the Geneva Convention.
I'll be the first one to tell you that my sense of heat level is all sorts of fucked. But if I do tell you it's hot, then yes, it is really fucking hot.
So you're saying that you're going to have to start boofing hot sauce?
Says I don't already.
That's fair. I should not have assumed your method of intaking hot sauce. I apologize deeply.
Did you just assume my capsaicin intake method?
I did. I went all boomer on you. Yeah, what you can do, you know?
Robbie is a half Thai.
What's the other half?
Cock.
Cock tie. Yeah. Yeah, from the old mountains of Caucasus. I think that's where they're from.
It's next to Lake Titicaca.
I believe you are right. Yeah.
We pull up my map here.
They were most affected by the toilet paper shortage of 2020.
That was sad. Right, Doug? Right, Doug?
Sure, we'll go with that.
There we go. So to answer your question, yes, your audio is coming through. A little behind the scenes. We pulled the curtain back a little bit.
Yeah, this professional production. Little do you guys know, a lot going on behind the scenes on this.
We have an entire crew. We have a staff of like 300 people.
And by staff, Dan means he needs to go get some Keflex.
Yeah.
To get rid of his infection.
I think I'm allergic to Keflex. I don't remember. I don't think I am.
We use nothing but red cameras to film in front of a live studio audience.
Yeah.
We're sort of like a duck, you know. On top of the water, everything looks all graceful and planned like it should, but underneath the waterline, we're just flapping our feet like crazy.
It's true.
Yeah, that's everybody. They just put on a front.
We don't use laugh tracks. All the laughs that you hear during this podcast are 100% real.
That was our drummer. That was our drummer over there on the old kit.
Yeah, it's a really nice kit. It's got
3 total pieces. He's got a 3-piece.
And a biscuit. Taste the biscuit. It's going to be -50 in Montana on Monday.
That's because people aren't supposed to live there.
I was thinking about that the other day when I was walking the dog, and I had on my battery operated sweatshirt, my heavy puffer jacket, and everything. And I'm like, why in the world did anyone ever settle here? Like, I'm
Because they
talking,
didn't want to go over the Rockies.
well, yeah, white folk, but I'm going back to like Inuits that became Ute, Cherokee,
You two Utes.
They
Utes,
moved to
two
Utah.
Utes.
He's going full my cousin Vinny.
Yeah.
Start stuttering.
Well, it's not Ute, it's Ute, and I said Ute, so I don't want to be culturally insensitive.
What, to Italians?
Yes, to Italians, to the Positrack or whatever it was.
I think that's a differential.
Mira Sorvino's hot. Yeah, just like why but again, if they if they came down to like from Alaska, like a lot of theories state, then I guess it was warmer down here than fucking Alaska. So
They're like, oh, it's so warm here. We're going to settle down.
Well, they made it all the way to Peru and Argentina and everything
just
else.
kept some of them just kept going like, no,
Yeah.
Dad, not yet.
Yeah, the polar bears that were diving in ice water, they're like, you guys have fun with that shit.
Yep.
We're still going.
Not yet. Keep walking.
Because, I mean, if you, if I am correctly informed in educational things that I have taken in, then as far as, you've got your Inuits, your, I guess we would call them Native Americans. And
Indigenous.
Yep. And then you have your other indigenous peoples through Mexico, Peru, and all of that. They were basically all the same, it was one thing,
Allegedly.
and there wasn't a lot of, it wasn't until the Europeans came over and started doing things and stuff where
The things that Europeans do.
yes, with the raping and the murdering and the spreading of
Blankets.
disease and all that other fun
Yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah, things and stuff.
We're
Yeah,
good.
things
We're
and
good with
stuff.
that. We're good with that. It's
They
funny.
came over, did things and stuff,
It's funny because, like, I don't believe. Well, I shouldn't say I don't believe in. I do not experience white guilt. Like, I don't feel guilty because I'm white, but at the same time, I can. What's the word I'm looking for? Acknowledge what Europeans did over here.
It
Hundreds of
was
years ago.
fucked up.
Very. And I don't believe in reparations either. This idea that we should pay, black families from slaves no, because one, every race has had, or every country, race, whatever, has had slavery of some type. It's just here in the United States, that was probably one of the last, not last, one of the most recent, right? So it's kind of still embedded in people's minds. But
It's not completely eliminated in all parts of the world either.
no, it's not. And I think that probably should be the focus a little bit more. But you can't. There's a part of me that says, you can't police the world. You can't. I don't want the United States to police the world. I don't, and we
They're
do.
gonna do it anyway. God
I
damn
know
it.
whether I want to or not, right?
America! Fuck
Yeah.
yeah!
Right. And the sad thing is we don't do it to be altruistic. We do it because of positioning and, playing global chess. And I understand that some of that's necessary.
And who's
Managing
going to make
egos.
money off what?
Right. Right. And that's, what's the Alcoholics Anonymous, the Lord's Prayers, something along the lines of, accept the
The
things.
Serenity Prayer.
Serenity prayer, yeah. Accept the things I can't change, and change the things I can, accept the things that I can't, and wisdom to know the difference. And I
Dilly
think
dilly. I think the end is
dilly
dilly.
dilly. Yeah, I think you're
Yeah.
right. Yeah. And
Good Lord giveth alcohol, the good Lord taketh your liver.
taketh your liver, sanity, money, family. I think that last part is the part that you really got to focus on, the wisdom to know the difference. And I can't stop the fucking juggernaut that's in place. All I can do is kind of like rats, just wiggle in and get what's good for me and move on. So, and I think you can do that without hurting people. Like just seems like people have gotten it's seemingly very selfish over the last, like, I don't know, 20 years. And maybe they've always been selfish in the internet. I think I told you guys I watched a documentary last night on Max about the Y2K bug. Dude, it was great. They went back to like 1995 and they were showing old computer commercials, and then they started showing. They sharded. Well, I sharded. We all sharded. There was these like ads and commercials and stuff for Y2K and like Nightline with whoever and Y2K and all this stuff. And it was something, man. It brought back some weird memories seeing 1997 computers and how fucking just they're everywhere now. And there was a woman on there, this is like 1997, 1998, and she says, the problem is that we know everything that's going on all over the world now. And I think we've talked about that on here, that I don't think it's healthy. I really don't. I don't think human beings were meant to know every tragedy and everything going on all over the fucking planet,
Oh, yeah, we've had this discussion quite a few times, and I've said more than once that comparison is the enemy of joy. Can't be happy with
Right.
what you've got if you're constantly worried about what someone else has got, and that's what
Right.
90% of social media is turned into.
Absolutely. I just saw something the other day, and I haven't had a chance to go dig and check its validity, but I thought I heard that Congress or government, whatever, they're going to sue Facebook or Meta because somebody uncovered or leaked documents that Facebook knew. They've done studies and they know for a fact that they have been fucking up the psychological profiles of like teens and children with social media. And I think you could argue it's kind of everybody. But yeah, I need to look that up because I was curious about that, because I am still quite convinced that Facebook was funded by some shady black ops type shit. Maybe
Yeah, I
not.
was gonna say, why not just cut out the middleman and have the CIA cut him a check instead of suing Facebook to get the money back?
Right. So I was like, that is an interesting turn of events.
They're just reallocating the budget, like, unofficially.
Well, Congress and the government has to pretend like they have no idea what the fuck's going on. So no,
They're only
we have
95
no
years
idea.
old, so they probably don't know what's going
They
on.
probably
Well,
don't.
that's also true. Have you guys seen? There was a video going around. This younger couple, or couple my age, whatever. And they're like, "Dad, we were hoping we could talk to you." And it's this old man. He's like, "Sure, kids." They say, it's time we discuss your future. And the guy's like, "Oh, okay." And they're like, we don't know if we can take care of you here anymore. And you're 90 years old now, and we think it's time you go to Congress. And the guy's like, "But I don't want to go to Congress." And they're like, "No, Dad, we talked about this, and it's time." So then they show him in a suit sitting there like, "What? What's the internet?" And it's just so fucking on point for me. And you got these 90-year-olds making policy. They don't have a fucking clue, and they're milking the last few dollars out of everything. Oh, what's her name? Doug will remember. She is losing her shit, and she put her daughter in charge of her trust or whatever. The fuck's her name? Anyway,
Feinstein?
what was it?
So Diane Feinstein?
Might have been Feinstein. Yeah, one of those old.
Yeah,
Either way,
yeah,
she's
it
in the
was.
same boat.
Yeah, it was Feinstein.
Yeah.
Um, because she gave her daughter power of attorney
That's
because
it.
she was no longer responsible enough to be in control of her own checking account and the whole 9 yards, but yet
Mhm.
she's still a United States senator.
And there you
You
go.
know, and that's what wound up happening. But I think she wound up dying though, not long after
Yeah,
she left.
that's
Like
what I was thinking.
September, October wasn't too far back.
Yeah, I mean, but it was like you could the the last photo that I saw of her while she was alive and in Congress. I don't know what state her mind was in, but she did not seem there mentally and barely physically. You know that weird thing when like people um like when they get Bell's palsy or have a stroke and they sort of lose control of one side of their face.
Yeah.
It looked like she had been recovering from that at some point in her past because, like, half of her face, I don't know. She was half there in more ways than one.
And I'm looking at pictures of her just before she died, and I think the best way to describe how rough and old she looks is that Adam would raw dog it.
Oh,
So
100%. I was gonna
yeah,
say I would definitely.
yeah,
I would.
he would. Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind that he would. So
You'd take her
um,
out for the Bluebird special at Denny's first,
there you
though.
go. There you go. Hey, he's a
It's
gentleman.
classy.
Yeah, he's a gentleman. So but that's and that's the point, that you got that, and then you've got them milking every last dollar. And it's like, bitch, please, you're worth hundreds of millions. Your family is fine. Stop. Just do one
Not
good thing
enough.
in your
It's not
fucking
enough.
career.
More.
Well, right.
We need more.
They have, I mean, we know most of them are like truly narcissists, but they have mental illnesses. I really do believe that. And it's that hoarding, that more, because I was talking to some folks one day just this last week, and I said, I don't understand the mentality, because there definitely is a limit for me. Like, if you gave me $100 million and you said, Dan, you could do this, you could invest this, you could take over these companies, I'd be like, no. that sounds like a lot of work, first of all. Or if I won $1 billion lottery, we were talking about what we would do, because I've got some friends, and I was half joking, half not, about trying to get some folks together, like investors, quote unquote, and open a doggy daycare place down in the city that I live in, because it's upper middle class, homogenous white people with their little pookie dogs or whatever, and their cats, and there's nothing close. I know this because I take my pookie dog to the daycare, but that's because she's a pit bull and has separation anxiety, and I want to come home and still have a couch. So it's cheaper to pay there than to buy a new couch.
You should just open a dog grooming place and call it Doggy Style.
I like that, actually. Yeah, I'm gonna write that down.
And then when the dog comes in, you start brushing it, and you say, "Wow, you're really mature for your age."
Oh no, Step-Groomer. Yeah.
God damn it.
Oh God.
So anywho,
That's an episode name.
and so somebody asked me, they said, well, what would you do if you had like all the money in the world, right? You didn't. And I started laughing, and I said, seriously? They said, yeah. I said, open a dog boarding center. And they're like, shut up. I was like, no, really. I've thought about that for years, but I'd go out like on a couple 100 acres, and I'd build like this ridiculous fucking sprawl of kennels and dog boarding and grooming and all that training. I mean, that's what I would do. And but again, if I win $1 billion, I'm going to go do dumb shit like that. But then it would bring me joy to help other people. And when I say help other people, I don't mean like I'm making air quotes right now, the friends and family that would come out of the fucking woodwork. But to be able to donate money to like create a center for kids to go learn music, a center for kids who don't read good.
How are they even going to get into the building?
What is this, a building for ants? There's lots of stuff that I would do, like philanthropic, and not for the feel goods, not for the gram, but just because I think that it's the right thing to do. I think when you hit a certain level of wealth, and listen, I'm a capitalist. I believe in capitalism, and anybody who doesn't, just look around at the things, whatever device you're listening to this podcast on right now down in Guantanamo. You wouldn't have that device if it wasn't for capitalism, right?
And I guarantee that on that device, you don't just use lowercase.
Right.
So.
You're going to capitalize things. So if you don't, how are you going to yell at somebody for not bringing you your DoorDash right? So capitalism is important. Now, I really
That would be
don't.
like muting boomers. Boomers type in all caps.
If it wasn't for capitalism, how would boomers type to each other? I think I do believe in capitalism. But I also believe for as anti-government or anti-large government as I am, I do believe in some regulation, but the regulation needs to make sense. Like, bring me the data, show me the data. Don't just say, "Oh, well, we all have to use CFL light bulbs now." Why are they safer? Are they better? No. Just a bunch of people in Congress have got a ton of stock in these companies that make the components to put these together. Right? How many CFLs do you see on the store shelves now? Almost none, because they suck.
They're all RGB.
Yeah, now it's all RGB. No shit, it's all LEDs, right? I think that was one of those things that really hit home when I realized that whole thing, that whole go green thing, was a fucking scam, and that it was very disenfranchising for me, because I do believe we should, again, I don't believe in, pointless regulation, but I also don't think that companies should be able to just dump their toxic waste into a river, be like, it'll be fine, and just let it go down. Just don't go downstream of it. You'll be fine.
Well, their new thing now is to make it your fault. The whole painting you with the blame for shit that they did behind the scenes to make something cheaper,
right?
For them. But anytime anything goes wrong on your end, it's always full replacement, so they can sell you another thing.
Yeah, and that's it's like global gaslighting. This is your fault.
So this brings up. You've heard of the water bottles like Hydro Flask and all those, right? Have you seen the new Stanley thermos?
Yes.
Yeah. That sums it up. It's basically just a regular Stanley thermos or whatever, and just in very bright colors now.
Yeah. I have a Stanley under my sink. It's one of the real, thermoses.
It's probably from 1873 or some shit.
It is at least. I was trying to think of I was driving truck, so it was mid to late 90s. Yeah. So
he was heading west for the gold rush.
I was. And when I heard, a friend of mine has a couple of daughters, 18 and 15, and the 15-year-old, my friend was giving her some shit about her Stanley cup or whatever. And I was like, Stanley, like Stanley, like the old thermos Stanley? I was confused, genuinely confused, because to me, Stanley was, they were bought by Aladdin, who did school, like back when you had a lunch box. Well, maybe Adam never did. But
yeah,
Aladdin made a ton of lunch boxes back in the day, and the little Scotch colored thermoses and all that. So I'm
if
like,
you rub the thermos, like a genie comes out.
It does.
It's Robin Williams.
Yes, it was Robin Williams, and he's like,
they'll cut the hole in the bottom of the lunchbox trick.
Yeah. Ultimate cosmic power. parking space. Yeah, I was really shocked by that. So somebody at their marketing team, like Stanley is the...
Well, it was actually one of the higher up people that was in with the Crocs shoes. He took over like the marketing portion of Stanley because their sales had kind of flatlined because their shit was so good it never broke, so people never bought a replacement. And now they're offering all these new fancy colors and bright colors that try to compete with like Hydro Flask and all the others, and here we are.
I wasn't even aware of their existence until like 2 weeks ago when they had that Starbucks that had people lined up and overran the counter.
Target. Yeah, Target, they had a Starbucks.
I thought people were
cup.
seriously. As soon as I heard it, like, they had Stanley Cups. I'm like, are these people like huge hockey fans or something? And they got little Stanley Cups? Because that's what I thought it was.
Right.
I had no idea. See, that's one of those things. This is the stage that you know that you're old.
Yes.
Because as soon as you hear about something, it's automatically not cool anymore.
There's probably some truth to that. What's that? It was The Simpsons. I used to be in, and now in isn't in anymore. It goes on, and it's a great skit. And I identify with old people more than I used to, and I understand certain things like when people are like, I don't like this new music. Well, it's not made for you, right? It's kids making music for kids. That's most of the bands I listen to now are anywhere from late 20s to mid 30s, just because I like metal, and some of the new metal coming out is really good in my opinion. But for the most part, it's not made for us. TV isn't made for us. Movies aren't made for us. They're made for the people that are, younger. So there was one thing. Did any of you guys ever watch the South Park Panderverse episode?
No, none of you watched familiar.
It. Oh God, you'd remember it. It was fucking phenomenal. But I saw something today. So the other night I was bored, couldn't sleep, got up, and I went into the living room and I thought, just pull up an app. And first thing that popped up was Mr. and Mrs. Smith with Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. And I haven't seen that in a while. I mean, I know the premise. I knew the movie. I've seen it a few times. So I turned it on and I watched it. And I'm like, chuckle, And Angelina, that was back when Angelina Jolie was, again, early 30s and was hot as fuck. So whatever, right? So today I learned that they're making a Mr. and Mrs. Smith TV series with Donald Glover as John Smith and I don't know, Aquafina or somebody as Mrs. Smith. And it was just the epitome of wokeness. I don't know why couldn't you call it something else? Why do you have to keep rehashing IP and then throwing diversity into it and going, hey, look, we did something. It really seems like pandering, but again, it ain't made for me.
It ain't made for anybody. That's the problem. You say that it's made for the younger generation, but they aren't watching this shit either.
Well, that's the thing, is that I don't know. It feels like a very vocal minority, because most people I talk to, or that I know, and maybe this is just an echo chamber, right? Maybe it's just the people that I hang out with, but I try to be diverse and talk to other people about it. No one gives a fuck. I know minorities that think that some of the minority picks for movies, when they remake them, are dumb. One of my favorite videos, there was a guy on TikTok or something, and he was going in on I think it was a black James Bond, and he was just going in about how it made no sense. Now, that said, Idris Elba would make a cool fucking James Bond. I'm just saying.
Well, he would definitely make a cool James Bond type character.
Yeah.
But here's the real problem. And and there's a lot of people that pick up on part of it. And Disney in the last 10 to 15 years have really just turned completely into a content factory. They don't care what they make as long as they're making something. Now,
so the
I
Star
thought you
Wars
liked
franchise.
Disney. I thought you liked Disney,
I mean,
man.
Doug loves Disney.
Here's the whole thing. Because you can look at Disney in the modern era and you can see them putting out movies that are losing money just freaking hand over fist. And it's like if you put something in the theaters that's worth seeing, people will go see it. But all the ideas are gone, and it's just like the first time because prior to Torchwood, I'd seen gay characters in different series and the whole nine yards, and didn't really care. I was like, whoa, I was like, did it really need that? No, but it is what it is. We can move with it and move along. But then when they did Torchwood, and you had Captain Jack Harkness, who was not only unkillable at one point, I think he was the horniest man in the galaxy, played ironically by John Barrow, a gay man who loved to go up and sit his penis on people's shoulders. But anyway, they made a hell of a series.
Was he like on a ladder or something, or was he like same?
He's really tall. He's really tall.
Like, hold up, let's back up and look at the important part of that story.
Yeah, I mean, but apparently he thought it was hilarious, and it would generally make the people on set laugh and whatever else. But like somebody would be sitting in a chair or what have you, and then he just thought it was the most hilarious thing in the world to whip his dick out and fling it on somebody's shoulder. But
I mean, he gives him the old sonic screwdriver, I guess.
What a dick.
Come on, where's the rim shot?
Big rim shot.
I will say, as far as Disney is concerned, Bob Iger is definitely very aware that it's a problem. He's come out and said that, they're focusing too much on messaging instead of actually writing a good fucking movie.
Right. And I think that's what people are sick of. I think that the minute you start to talk about, like when they made Little Mermaid black, like I didn't give a shit about that, right? She was a cute little girl and whatever. And people are like, she's black. She's a fucking mermaid, bro. Like we're not going to get past that. Like,
yeah, it ain't realistic. It ain't realistic, Dan.
Right. It's not realistic. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like that didn't matter because whatever, like it didn't matter. Do I think that they did it to be woke? Yeah, but I think the uproar over that was way more than it should have been. But when people complain about it, everyone says, oh, you're racist, you're narrow-minded. No, it's that it starts to feel like they're shoving it down your throat. And that's what people don't like. And what you just said.
I kind of like, speak for yourself.
Well, but yeah, if it's the sonic screwdriver, right? But if you got Bob Iger saying, hey, I think people started to realize or started to feel like, yeah, you're not making any good content. You're you're pushing diversity on everyone when it doesn't make any sense. Or
I don't care. I don't care if the movies are diverse as long as they're good.
Right. And that's, like I said, people talked about a black James Bond, and you say Idris Elba, and I was like, fuck yeah.
That would be fire.
if you go to Google and type in black James Bond, it just pulls up a bunch of pictures of Idris Elba.
So, speaking of Google, that brings up something I've noticed is they've started labeling a lot of businesses and restaurants as black owned or LGBTQ owned or women owned.
Yeah,
I don't give a fuck who owns it as long as they're not a piece of shit and they offer good quality stuff.
Same. And I think that's the problem, is that you're segregating under the guise of being inclusive, right? Don't go there. That's not a black owned business. I don't give a fuck who owns the business.
Just as long as they can still make a fucking cheeseburger, go for it. I don't give a fuck who made the cheeseburger.
Am I going to get food poisoning? All right, that's the low bar point of entry. All
Right.
right, is the
But
food
it is,
good?
but it's a good place to start. Well, and I've always said too that it was like the that baker here that didn't want to do the cake for the gay wedding, and it got turned into this big thing, and there was lawsuits and court cases and all that. Dude, I think we should roll it all back to where you can say whites only, coloreds only, fucking whatever. You do you, boo. But know this.
What in the fuck?
Yeah,
Listen,
Dan does not speak
listen,
for the rest of the podcast.
No,
listen,
All right.
I'm just
listen,
saying.
listen,
Dan is
listen.
having his Alex Jones moment.
No, listen.
No. Expand
Listen.
on this.
I will. Just remember that there are consequences for your actions, right?
But my freedom of speech.
Yeah, my freedoms. The leopards will eat your face. You want to say, oh, white people only at this restaurant. All right, that's fine. Go right ahead. Feel free. You know who's never going to go in there? This white guy, right? Because I don't agree with your policies. I think everyone should just put that shit right out in the open. That was the only good thing about 2016, about Trump being made president, right? Because when you ask people, well, what did Trump do? Well, we had mean tweets and cheap gas prices. Okay, whatever.
Many people say.
Many people say, some people say. But the best thing that happened with him being president was all of these fucking idiots that came out of the woodwork thinking that it gave them some sort of, well, it did give them, I shouldn't say thought that it did give them this platform, right? And this feeling that they should just go out and say whatever they want. And I applaud them. I commend these people. I want to encourage them to continue doing it because I eliminated a lot of people from my life. A lot of people that I trusted, a lot of people that I thought were good, decent human beings that had a fuck ton of hate in their heart, man. And were obviously just pretending to be decent human fucking beings. So no, I don't think any business should be forced to do anything, but you will reap what you sow, right? There are consequences to everything you say, everything you do. So have at it, Sparky. You don't want to serve
You
somebody?
I don't know. You probably should have led with that.
No, it was way more fun. No, it was way more fun to lead in the way that I did.
I don't disagree, but you probably should have led with that.
So one of these days, that soundbite.
So when you run for Congress when you're 95,
right? Exactly. Yeah. When we're in the primaries, Mr. Adams, is it true? And I'd be like, all right, hold on. There's
so
more
Dan
to
wants
this.
to have Dan wants to have separate water fountains, is what I'm getting out of this.
No, I still think government should be regulated. I still think government should have to, because a government, is of the people, for the people, by the people, we the people. So I don't think you can do that with government. I don't think that would work. I think they tried that back during the Civil War. It didn't work out well. I cracked me up.
That was the states' rights.
Yeah. I'm a statist. I believe in state rights. I think the state should have more rights and the federal government should have less. I think that what you would see, though, just like you have in Europe with all the little countries over there, is that you're going to have some states where not a lot of people want to live. I mean, fuck, you got that now, right? But GDPs, things like that. I still want to see that Civil War movie. When's that come out? I don't think I'll go to the theater, but nothing really compels me to go to a theater, though. I know Doug's a big theater guy.
It's more immersive now.
Doug loves theater.
Especially a Civil War movie. Jesus. You go to the theater and then there's like a 50-50 you'll actually get shot at.
But there's also a 50-50 chance they'll miss. But you got to stand there while they reload and hope they don't.
So now we're down to like 25% or something like that. We're good. We're golden. We got nothing to worry about.
Math is hard.
Well, but the odds are they won't be able to hit me, because I'm not standing there perfectly still while they put on their earmuffs and everything else, and obviously put on their protective eyewear.
Oh yeah.
And then I stand
Go out
there
there.
perfectly still like a paper target so they can hit me in the gut.
Why they reach for their concealed carry permit and their legally acquired gun.
Yes.
Don't move. There's sights based on movement.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the tunnel that they dug under the synagogue in New York? Did
No.
you guys see that? So the members of this synagogue in New York just started digging like an unsanctioned tunnel under New York in the synagogue to another building they owned, like across, like on another block. And apparently the cops have been getting reports of like hearing noises and stuff under their apartments because they went under like these apartment buildings. And then when the cops went to investigate, it started like a big riot in the synagogue, and they were trying to like keep them from filling in the hole and shit.
Jesus, take the shovel.
I just want to say, imagine trying to report that. Imagine going to the cops and saying, fucking.
How many times did they have to call the police to get them to take it seriously?
Yeah, they're like, hey, the Jews are digging a tunnel under my house.
No, man, seriously.
All right.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not the Jews, maybe it's the lizard people.
Right. The lizard Jews. The Jewish lizards.
Yeah, apparently it's a big thing because they fucked up the structural integrity of multiple buildings.
I was just reading that. Yeah, 2 buildings. There was I got a buddy that he owns properties, and he owns a couple of, like, I don't know what they call them, brownstones or whatever in New York, and he was talking about the Jewish community up there. In certain areas, it's so big and relatively powerful that they have their own police forces now. I think their armbands say Mazel Tov, so it's space lasers. Mazel Tov. But no, he said that they do have their own police force, and they've like right on time. Their actual live drummer. There's a lot of
he has ADHD and speech
right,
processing issues.
A lot of gentrification, and they're gentrifying so much that they had to get their own police force because people were coming back and like assaulting them and burning down houses and shit like that because they're just buying up these big swaths in certain areas and just kicking people out left and right, and only allowing Jewish people to live there. So, yeah, it's kind of interesting. It makes you wonder about the tunnels. Like, why? Who had that idea? Right? Like a couple of rabbis were hanging out. Like, one rabbi.
It's like a joke. It's like
right. I'm just, I don't know. I'm a little confused about how that one got started. So,
yeah, so from what I had read, it was some of the younger members of the synagogue, and they like they asked one of like the lead rabbis, and he basically condemned it. But I don't understand how you wouldn't know that there's a tunnel being dug under your synagogue.
I mean, because you've got debris removal at the very least while you're digging a tunnel,
Yeah.
Even if you're just digging something that's like 2.5 feet, 3 feet wide, 7 foot tall, something like that, just wide enough for people to get down it. Yeah, that's a lot of stuff. I mean, and you don't know if it's dirt or rock because you have to wonder how somebody heard them digging unless that was rock. And I think if it's Manhattan, they've got a particularly hard type of stone there that they're known for. It's like Manhattan schist or something like that. It sounds like Manhattan shit, but it's Manhattan schist.
Tomato.
Sure,
Yeah.
God, sure. But now, how would you get underneath like all? Isn't New York? Isn't aren't a lot of the utilities like underground? I know maybe it's not. I mean, I've seen movies of New York. I've never been there, so I don't know.
It's underground utilities. They're in service tunnels and sewers and all that bullshit.
Yeah, so it seems
But
like
it's
you'd have to
like
get
I
through
haven't
that too.
been there myself. It's just I'm aware of people who have done that sort of thing before, being in the businesses that I have been in.
Business.
Cocaine dealing.
Yeah, I was gonna say he had some business up in New York.
Yeah, I make those submarines for the cocaine dealers.
Yeah.
I thought that's what you were doing. I thought that's what I saw on your resume.
Well, I can recommend a good boat propeller. What can I say?
Just find the highest rated one on Temu and buy from them.
Exactly.
What could go wrong?
His references on his resume, the phone number is just the phone number for the Supermax in Florence.
Oh man. So a buddy of mine, that buddy, I hit him up and asked him if he knew about this, and he did say that he was calling people and no one would believe him. He said it was a building adjacent to the synagogue. He said, and no one would believe him. So yeah, that was about what we suspected, right? Sure, Mr. Jones, sure.
Because that Manhattan schist, they were probably literally having to use like drills, jackhammers, the whole 9 yards to get through that shit, and that would make a lot of racket.
Yeah. And there's a bigger point to that. I mean, were they just like high and decided to fucking build a tunnel?
Dude, that's what I was thinking. Like, I was like, why would they do that? And then I was thinking, like, that's like, if I was really bored, I could see myself wanting to do that.
I guess. Still,
if I was bored and had the means, I'd be like, yeah, hey, we should build a tunnel, dude.
That's the kind of dumb shit I do on Minecraft.
Right. So we play 7 Days to Die. I go into fucking gopher mode, and everyone's like, "Where the fuck's Dan?" And then you see him just pop up somewhere, and then I go back
but
down.
fuck-
Dan doing?
Fucking
He's digging the tunnel. Don't worry. He'll stop once he hits the edge of the damn map.
First he builds the radio tower, then he digs underneath it, and I'm building the bridge to Terabithia. Somehow Dan digs out the foundation for both, and everything collapses. And
He's
I've done
really
that more
good
than
at it.
once.
Yes.
Yeah, I've done that more than once. I've gotten better at it. Usually, what happens is Doug will just, at a certain point, Doug will hand me one of the gasoline-powered drills and just let me go on my way, because he knows that if he gives me one of those, I'll keep digging down, and then it's much less likely that I will dig under
you
anything
can still
foundation.
dig all of that stuff. See, I just make sure to build where you're not digging. You go dig over there.
I'm just over here coloring.
but he's a fucking gopher. He digs everywhere.
I really
But
do.
think about, but Dan, he uses the appropriate procedure, which is he calls before he digs.
I do call before I dig. I do. Yes.
And by that, I mean, hey, am I near your base? And then the base starts collapsing.
Oh, the solution is just to dig deeper.
Dig deeper. Dig deeper, gentlemen. That's all you can do, right?
I mean, the utilities are at a certain level underground, so you just dig below them. Problem solved.
Yeah, just go under all of the utilities.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. What did we talk about on ASSMR? What was that one about? I don't see where
I
Adam
think
is.
I remember. I don't even know what we talked about on this one.
Well, that's fair. That's actually fair.
I think the
we have
capsaicins
to.
fucked my memory.
Big rim shot was politics, homelessness,
Possibly.
and police.
He burnt his nines.
Housing prices and trolling. We talked about trolling? Weird.
Yeah, we don't usually talk about trolling.
Yeah.
No, we just
Doesn't
do it. We
seem
don't
like
talk
anything.
about it. We just do it.
This entire podcast is trolling.
So, Adam, what's the latest rumors at work that's spreading around?
No, I wouldn't know anything about that.
No, that's not what he does. He doesn't do that type
No, I
of
don't.
stuff.
I don't spread rumors.
No, rumors. What is it? Idle hands, devil's wiener, something like that. Isn't that
I thought it was deviled eggs.
deviled? That's it. Yeah, spicy wiener, deviled eggs.
Yeah, idle hands put deviled eggs in your wiener.
That's it.
Carlos
Wienered
McSpicy
eggs.
Wiener.
That's it. I knew there was something like that. I don't know. How come I can't? I don't know. What? Trying to operate. I'm getting to that point where I can't operate technology anymore. I'm like, what the? Why is it? Hold on. Wait a minute. Yeah. But
I don't know, but I'm at the point where I'm considering LASIK because I'm tired of looking over my glasses to read something.
well, I can't do LASIK. What is it? What's that thing that goes over the eye?
And
Your
what he's
glasses?
trying to say is his shit's too fucked up.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I didn't want to get technical on you,
Sprout, your
Doug, but
shit's fucked
Jesus.
up.
If you got to get technical, yeah, my shit's fucked up. So, yep.
Try and fucking it.
I went to just try and fucking yourself. I went to some place down in Florida that like fucking Rihanna and all these other big Hollywood stars went to. Woman walks in, looks at me, goes, "Nope, have a nice day." I was like, "Fuck." So, but whatever. Why is our rating clean? It says rating is clean. Does that mean like our vocabulary or?
No, I think that means we haven't been reported.
Oh.
Hold on.
Like your Xbox reputation score is
I
clean.
was gonna say because we that's gonna be problematic.
We are problematic.
We are problematic. Yeah.
I
I'm
don't think
definitely
they
a
have much
problem.
internet access in Guantanamo, so who's really going to report it?
Yeah, it's very true.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Tell the guard?
Wait a minute. We have a 4.8. That can't be right. I mean, it's only 5 ratings, and now one of them's mine. But we have a 4.
Oh, I rated us a 5.
Did you? Okay. Yeah, we have a 4.8 on Apple podcast, whatever thing. So that's funny. 2 Gen
Applecast.
Xers and 1 millennial come together to discuss various topics and news. I don't think that's true
Yes.
anymore, Adam.
Well, we're certainly not coming.
No, none
Speak
of
for
you have ever
yourself,
made
sir.
me. None of you have ever made me come. None of you. I've been faking it. So, I'm sorry. Turn off automatic downloads. Have I been downloading these? Gross. I mean,
While Dan reads the entire UI of his phone.
Terms of service.
What is this? Open this up. What is it? X? I thought it
You
was,
agree
push the
to...
button here and just go over there. What is this?
I thought it was Twitter.
on
Why is it
that
X now? I think my phone's hacked.
This podcast is white people owned by straight cisgender males.
Yes, I want this. No, I won't.
Hey, the way it stands right now, we could fucking write for Disney.
Just
think we
use the
should
same
name-
shitty jokes like they do in every Marvel movie and some AC/DC in the background, and you're good.
You guys have got to watch the Panderverse if you have Paramount Plus. I'm telling you, it's one of their best. Their last one wasn't very good. Was that? It was about an energy drink or something, and basically they were going in on like influencers, and it was just like, that was weak. But the Panderverse was fucking fantastic. So
Were the influencers selling or talking about the pros of a Stanley insulated mug?
it was what was the name of the? Oh, I can't remember the name of the energy drink or hydration drink, but yes, I think that's what they were going for. Instead of going after just the cups, they went after
Like Prime
God.
Energy.
Was it that Star Spangled Freedom energy drink mix you got?
Hey, you keep making fun of that, but I'm gonna rip a pack of that open at some point.
Tactical mix.
This is tactical. Yeah, exactly.
Freedoms.
Sounds like
Just
they're making fun of
wondering
like
how
Prime
long it is
Energy.
What?
What?
Huh?
What did
Do
you
what?
say, Adam?
Do
It
what
sounds
now?
like they're making fun of Prime Energy.
Is it Prime? I don't know. It was not suitable for children was the last one. Why can I not remember? Cred.
Because you're old.
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
The drink was called Cred.
Cred.
Yeah.
See
So
red.
he's like, you got any cred? And there's a scene where Cartman's walking through the hall like, I got cred, bitches. I got cred. Okay, what real prime drinker doesn't drink their prime? Phony. Yeah, on Reddit. So yeah, apparently prime. I've never heard of prime. What is that?
It's supposed to be like a hydration workout drink,
Okay.
but
Oh wow, yeah, that is definitely what they were dogging on because that's the
it
same
doesn't have
logo.
any electrolytes in it. It's just sugar water.
Okay, yeah.
Speaking of energy drinks, since we're not sponsored by Monster,
Mm-hmm.
have y'all tried Celsius? Because that
Ooh.
shit, Jesus Christ.
I like Celsius. Oh yeah.
Mix that with some Vyvanse, and you're gonna have heart palpitations for the next 3 months. I
Boy,
think it's like 300 milligrams of caffeine in like a little 8 ounce can. I made that mistake once.
this is
Once.
America. I drink Fahrenheit. Boy.
Yeah, what is this communist drink we're drinking? Bro,
Celsius
get out of
bullshit.
here.
So
Why does
I
it come in
actually
there?
I have not drank it for the reason that you just stated. Is I look at the caffeine. I had problems with caffeine years ago, and had
I
the heart
still do.
palpitations. Yeah, so a little self-medicating action. So I definitely read the caffeine content, and like you said, I picked it up. It was this thin little Red Bull like can with 350 milligrams of caffeine versus the like 80 or 100 that's in the same size can of Red Bull. And I was like, nah.
What's a milligram? You guys are communist units over here.
Communist units. Yeah, CUs.
It's Americagram. Americagram.
I'm going to need about 30 Americograms to get this guy's heart beating again.
It's equivalent to about 8 freedom ounces.
And don't get confused. Liquid ounces and freedom ounces are not the same. Freedom seeds. Fucking hate that. Freedom seeds. So stupid. Exactly. Oh god, here she goes. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Hello. Hello. I'm just more impressed Dan's taught the cat to say hello.
I did not teach her to do that. That is apparently one of the symptoms of feline dementia or feline cognitive disorder. So, and she does that all through the night, 2, 3, 4 in the morning, just starts screaming like that. So, the
Just
only thing
give
I
her
could do
some
is maybe
horse
sedate
paste.
her.
It'll be fine.
Do what?
Just give her some horse paste. It'll be fine.
Horse paste? What is horse paste?
Oh, is that horse medicine that
Ivermectin.
Yeah, that.
Okay. Well, when we are now officially sponsored by ivermectin.
We did our own research.